Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 87 of the hunt a day. We are in Frontier still, doing some more hunts, and today I thought I would break out of my Frontier funk a little bit by trying out some of the other extreme style weapons. Since I got to G rank, I've been pretty much exclusively using tonfa, and I've been having a blast with them, but I wanted to try out some of the other weapons that I main. And so I wanted to switch over to Greatsword, so I figured I would craft a G-rank Greatsword. And that did not help my my mental block with Frontier, because in order to craft this one Greatsword, I needed to do the same event quest 5 times in a row. Which, I know for like a lot of the grind in this game, that's not saying a lot. I'm going to have to do a lot more than that. But even that had me like, okay, I think I'm good. But when I got into the quest and I started playing around with Extreme Style Greatsword, I really enjoyed it, even though it is very different from how I normally play. I've talked before how I really like the crit draw playstyle. I'm very much a hit and run Greatsworder. So to talk a little bit before we talk about the monster, about what Extreme Style Greatsword offers, it lets you run with the weapon drawn, which is awesome for Greatsword, just getting in and out. And you don't need to focus on like sheathing the weapon and unsheathing it, and you can still get in and do charge slashes. But the coolest thing, the thing that I was the most excited to try out, and if you ever wanted to see me spend an entire hunt getting knocked around by a monster while trying to block its attacks, this is the hunt for you. Because the most neat thing that Extreme Style Greatsword gives is a perfect guard mechanic. So you can no longer hold down the guard button, you now press it and the guard animation happens. And as long as you block an attack in that animation, it adds to a stack that once you get to 3, when you block 3 attacks, you can unleash a special attack that does like, I think it's like 15 hits in a row. And it's this just like big burst of damage that you can do with the Greatsword that is like the most powerful move it has, and I really wanted to try that out. And so you see me trying to block and failing to block and, you know, eventually getting it, and then I had no idea how to activate that move. So I had to, like, you'll see it happen in the hunt, had to open up the controls and see what the option was. But it is a really cool move. Extreme Style Greatsword is real fun. I want to try and get better with it, because right now I'm kind of trash. This was my first hunt with G-Rank Extreme Style Greatsword, so yeah, enjoy. The monster we are hunting, though, is a really neat one, and also one that I'm also not a huge fan of. I think he's neat, but I also wouldn't, be sad if he didn't come back. We are fighting, and I know I'm going to butcher this pronunciation because I've been trying to, since I hunted him this morning, trying to figure out how it is supposed to be said. I believe Diragua is the closest I can come. So Diragua is a pseudo-wyvern with the same frame as like a Tigrex, Nargacuga, Barioth. Taking a bit more, it's like a smash of Tigrex and Barioth, with the very fast, hyper-aggressive, super focused on physical attacks nature of Tigrex, and the like ice wind tornadoes of Barioth. In general, it's a fun fight. It is, aggressive, it's in your face, but it's still like well telegraphed and manageable if you're not trying to figure out, Greatsword block timings and failing miserably. But in general, it's a pretty straightforward fight. Does not a whole lot of crazy stuff. Probably in the hardcore version, it's a bit more wild. But as it stands, it's just a fun, primarily brute force, primarily physical focused with a touch of element focused fight. Aesthetically, he's not much to write home about until you get to his face, where he almost has like an Oni mask inspired look, and just these massive jaws of long, like comically long razor sharp teeth. There's not a lot of monsters, even at their most silly, that I can say, like, this does not look like an animal. Like, even when we hunted Magnamalo, I talked about how I think its design is a little bit too much. But even that, I can still, like, suspend my disbelief enough to go, yes, this is an animal that exists in the world. Diragua looks like one of those, Chinese dragon masks. Like the big like parade dragons. I can't remember what they're actually called, but the ones that like people like dance around in. Its face looks like one of those, and it looks like a mask. It doesn't look like a real face. It almost looks plastic. It looks very static. It is hard to enjoy. I think the rest of him looks fine. His weird, like, bulbous asparagus tail is kind of goofy, and I kind of like it. The coloration is fine. It looks relatively natural. It doesn't look too out there, but I can't get over the face. It just looks too plastic and too goofy for me. I don't particularly want to see him come back. I don't, think he's anything special. I think he's a fine monster. It's an okay fight. Definitely not one I'm super, super amped up about. In terms of returning in Wilds, because his design face-wise is so over the top, I think it's very low. He's not a very, like, natural-looking creature. So I will say, like, a 1 at most to return in Monster Hunter Wilds. I could see him a lot more in a more arcadey style game like Monster Hunter Rises, or even like another MMO style thing like Monster Hunter Frontier. I would not be surprised if this thing showed up in Outlanders, like the mobile game that's going to be happening. That's where I could see this thing shining. And so for a future game, I'm going to put it kind of like 3 or 4, maybe not in a mainline game, but in a more arcadey, actiony spin-off or another MMO. There I could see it. Alright, and that is where I'm going to wrap up the ramble for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Please stick around until the end of the hunt if you can to see me get a little bit more of a handle on Extreme Greatsword. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't, and until next time, I'll see you next time.